Hello there everyone and welcome to the Enamel Flowers Layering Guide video. First up, I have stamped all of the images from the stamp set onto a piece of white cardstock. I then have stencil number 1 and I'm just going to pop it into place onto that largest flower. So this stencil here that we have does have all of the flower images on this one, so stencil number 1. For the base layer of this one, I will be using some Aqualicious ink to add in that colour. Once that's done, all I need to do is shift up that stencil, and this is going to allow me to add in the second detail layer to the flower that we have here. For this layer, I will be using the very pretty teal cave ink. Once that's done, I'm going to shift that up again, and I'm going to be using some of the Snapdragon ink just to add in the flower center. Once that's done, I can add in the medium flower that we have on here. So I'm just popping that into place, and it's in the center of the little stencil that we have. So for this layer here, I will be using the Aqualicious ink just to add that into place. I can then move my stencil up, and this is going to add some darker points to kind of the base of the petals on this one. And same as before, I will be using the teal cave ink just to add in that color. Again, move that stencil up again just to add in the little centerpiece. And again, I have used the Snapdragon for that one. I'm going to add the stencil into place now onto the smallest of the flowers, and I'm going to use the same colours as before, so I am using the Aqualicious ink for the base there. Then we're going to move that up, add that into place, just covering up that flower centre so that doesn't get any ink on it. And for this one here, I will be using the teal cave for those darker tones. Again, move that stencil up a tiny touch just to add in the flower center again with that Snapdragon ink. Once that's done, we can remove that stencil, and then we're going to move on to stencil number 2. Now, stencil number 2 has all of the leaves on this one, so I will be using the same colors for all of the leaves. So for the base, I will be going in with the grass field, and then we're going to go in with the shadow creek. Now, these little leaves that you can see here, all you're going to need to do is place the image around the leaf that you have in question, and then just add the ink through the stencil. So for the base, we're going in with the grass field, and then we're going in with the shadow creek. You can see that each of these leaves are kind of in a pair. So on each of the columns, we have 2 different sets of leaves. We have the base, and then we also have the shadow piece for that leaf as well. So once you've done the base on the column, you're going to need to move the stencil down twice to line up the shadow. I really do hope that makes sense, but you're going to see me do this over and over again, so you will see what I mean. So you can see that we have 2 different leaves on each of these columns, and they are kind of interspersed with a different leaf in between them. It goes base, then shadow, shadow. So base 1 of a leaf, base 2 of a leaf, shadow 1 of a leaf, and then shadow 2 of a leaf. So hopefully that makes sense. They are really easy to do once you have got them in your hand, and they're really easy to add in the shadow. You don't necessarily need these to line up perfectly to look perfect. Once that's done, we can move on to stencil number 3, and this is going to do the little swirls or swooshes. You can do these green if you want to make them look like really fancy feathers, but I am going to go in with some yellow. So I went in with Sunray for the base of my swoosh. I'm then going to move the stencil up just to add in the deeper layer, and this time we are going to use the Snapdragon. So this is the same ink that we used for the flower centers. Once that's done, we can move that stencil over again, line up around the stamped image, go through with the Sunray ink for the lighter base. Then we can move that stencil over again, not making sure that it's within the image, but you don't need to make sure that it's lined up perfectly. And then we're going to use the Snapdragon ink for there. And that is all of the layering complete. We really do hope this video helps. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again really, really soon. Bye-bye.